And good morning and welcome to another edition of the Saturday Sports Show. My name is Ralph Williams. I am the host of the Saturday Sports Show. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? And let us talk to you. And I am the revolutionary. I am the visionary. I am Ralph Williams. And it's great to be here this morning. And we're back after a 2-week hiatus of the Saturday Sports Show. We had the draft last week, and the week before we had WrestleMania. So we were not available for the Saturday Sports Show, but it's great to be back today. And our panel is with us today. We have Pensmansports, Brian Pettit, and Leo Haggerty. And we're all here today, and we're going to be talking about, we're going to review the draft. And I have 10 teams that I'm going to show you that had nobody, I repeat, nobody drafted in the draft. And wait till you see some of these teams that will shock you to death when you see who some of these teams are that had nobody drafted in last weekend's draft at all. All right, I want to thank Pensman, Brian, for us covering the draft last weekend. I want to thank Leo for being on Tuesday for our final Sports Corner show to talk about the draft as well. But we're going to get into the draft today. Our teams, Brian with the San Francisco 49ers, Leo with Tampa, and Pensman and I with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so next week we're going to have Mike Sisak coming on. Mike's going to come on next week and talk with us about the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens and what they're doing and how their draft went and what grades were given for their draft as well. So just to get started, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but they're saying now the Jets and the Cleveland Browns had the two best teams that had the best draft in this draft. So we'll find out. But let's get started with our opening monologues. Pensman, welcome to the program. How are you today? Good morning, and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. Go ahead, Pensman.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks for having me. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube. You can email me on. You can find me on email at pensmansports@gmail.com. So back to you, Ralph.
All right, thank you, Pensman. Brian Pettit, and of the Outlaw Sports Network. But Brian has something new, and I'm going to show you right now what he's up to. He has something different he's putting up, and there it is, Sports Break Media with Brian Pettit. What a picture that is there. I heard that scared the birds away, but that's beside the point anyway. But Brian Pettit there in the Sports Break Media. Congrats to Brian for starting up his new media outlet as well. And I want to let there you are, Brian. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. And I see you got the Kentucky Derby background behind you. So,
yeah, I do. You can now find me on Facebook at Sports Break Media. Also, you can find me on X at 27 Sports Break. Also, you can email me at sportsbreakmedia1@gmail.com, and you can just find me. There's a lot of more things coming on, so I'm just getting started. I want to thank all the subscribers that are subscribed to my channel this week. There's probably been 91 people that I don't know who they subscribe to, but I want to thank them for subscribing. And so there you go.
All right, Leo Haggerty, Amped Up Sports. How are you, Leo? Welcome to the program this morning. How are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, after last night, I'm on cloud nine. The Lightning stave off elimination, 1-0 in overtime. And check us out on Facebook, Amped Up Sports. I've got a great NHL post I'm going to put up after the show. But I'll tell you what, Ralph, while we're on the subject, Gary Bettman has to be salivating by what this first round has brought about. The Flyers and the Penguins, 1-0 in overtime, 6 games. The Lightning and the Canadiens, 6 games, 4 in overtime, and only once has either of the organizations had a 2-goal lead. It's been a war.
Yes, it has. There have been some competitive games. I will give credit to the NHL where they deserve. I want to give credit to Dan Muse, his first year as a Pittsburgh Penguin head coach. He was able to bring in a defensive system and make it fun. We've had defensive systems with the Penguins before under Kevin Constantine, and it was boring. People didn't want to watch it, but at least this year they will want to watch it. My next question is, what's going to happen to Evgeny Malkin? Rumors are going around that his contract has ended, which of course is true. Rumors are going around he was supposed to go to Russia, but he announced yesterday he wants to come back for one more season to play with Crosby and try to get a Stanley Cup, or at least try to do something, because he'll be 40 years old and he wants to come back and try at least one more time before he retires. So we'll see where the Penguins go with that, and Pensman will bring us up to speed on that later on. And we have a lot to talk about today. Guys, the NFL draft last weekend, Pittsburgh put on a really good show. It looked like there for a minute that Pittsburgh had egg on their face. The Steelers, first-round pick. But now everybody's saying that the Steelers had a good draft. I've heard grades from B+ to B-. I gave them a C, and we're going to find out what everyone else has to say in their respective teams. So let's start with you, Leo. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where do you think they went this year with the draft? We talked on Tuesday, but you can bring us up to speed today. Go ahead.
Well, Bain fell into their lap, so it wasn't a whole lot of choice there. And you talk about misinformation being put out. All the people talked about was, short arms, short arms, short arms. Watch the tape. This guy could have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, and he's got more than one move. When you're looking at an edge rusher, the biggest thing you got to be concerned about is that 95 to 100% of his rushes are speed rushes, because you can get away with that in college. You're not going to get away with that on Sunday. Watch Ruben Bain play, especially the Indiana game. Bully versus bully. And he was holding his own in that trench. He has not only a speed rush, he's got a bull rush, and he plays the run well. And you know what, guys? After the first pick, everything else is really for depth, and maybe that second rounder gets on the field. If you're getting starters in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, you're a pretty bad football team. Or you've misjudged that player and should have drafted him higher. But Ruben Bain, great pick. Great job by the Bucs.
I think the Bucs did a really good job on defense. They addressed what they needed. Todd Bowles was looking to strengthen his defense, which has been an Achilles heel for Tampa. They've had some bad drafts, Kalijah Kancey, and again, I know he's from Pitt and all, but he just hasn't cut the bacon. And it's been rough for Tampa with some of their picks, but we'll go from there.
You know what, Ralph? It's more that he has trouble. He's getting injured. And again, everybody gets hurt. Getting injured, you can't. You break an arm, you break a leg. There's nothing you can do about it. But one thing, the Bucs aren't giving up on him. They picked up their club option on him, so he's going to be around.
Okay. Good. Yeah, that's good to hear. All right, Pensman Sports. Go ahead, Pittsburgh Steelers. Your opinion, I'll give you mine later. Go ahead. Are you there?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, go ahead, Pensman. Interesting.
I'll be back.
All right, that's fine. All right, Brian Pettit, go ahead. San Francisco 49ers, go ahead.
So the 49ers have been mistaken for a lot of things. They could have had a first round pick. We know that they put a second round in the first, kind of like the 33rd, but keep moving backwards, as everybody said on their sports show this week, that look at the people that they've missed on, of what they've done in the past. I mean, they've given up so much. The only one that I could see is I like the Keelan Black from Indiana. He's going to be actually a good running back for the 49ers. I think that's going to be a move. I think he's going to help tremendously with CMC back there. I kind of like the guy out of Ole Miss. He's going to be a special guy for defensive end. So, I mean, they got some curves, but they just got to draft better than what they should have been,
Yeah, absolutely, they do. And Kyle Shanahan's kind of laid an egg in the draft over the last few years, and so we'll see what happens. Other than Brock Purdy, I don't think he's really had any splash draft picks. But well, we lost Leo and we lost Mike or Pensman. Wow, geez, we lost both of them. All right, Brian. We let's move on to something else here for real quick, and then we'll get back into the draft.
You're right ahead.
I want to talk about this here real quick. Claudia, my friend Claudia Rosano is being inducted, and that is, I believe, next week, or no, I'm sorry, in June. He's being inducted into the Italian Sports Hall of Fame, and I want to congratulate Claudia Rosano. Claudio is my co-host on my Sports Corner radio shows, both on Friday and Saturday. Friday on 620 KHB in Pittsburgh, and on Saturday this afternoon, 2 to 3 p.m., the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoke, and Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. And Claudio, congratulations to you, my friend. He is on. I want to thank Luther Dupree as well. He put out a brand new closing video, and he has me included in it, and I appreciate him for that as well. So, But anyway, hang on a minute here. I can get Pensman back on the air. I'm going to work on doing something here.
Leo, can you hear us?
Yeah, hold on. I'm sure he can, but hold on. I'm going to try to see if I can get him back on. All right.
And it's only a Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. But,
crazy Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This is what happens when you have electronics. I mean, it happens to everybody.
Hey, Leo, I just talked about the 49ers. I don't know if you heard me, but what are your thoughts on the 49ers? That I know that what are your thoughts about it, the 49ers, what they should have done and what they could have done? Because I'm a 49er fan. I want to see what your thoughts are or be,
Mike Evans gives them a huge piece because he's a red zone target. Everybody says, well, he's getting old and he doesn't get separation. When you're 6'5", as soon as you turn around, you have separation. It's just a matter of the quarterback throwing in that open window. When Keyshawn Johnson was the Bucs, everybody was saying he's too old, couldn't get separation. At 6'4", that corner is 5'11". You got 5 inches of separation. Just turn around. Quarterback throws it high and away. Defensive back ain't getting it. Just not happening.
Well, I saw a lot of these guys that have been drafted were 5'11", the corners and something like that. I was like, are you really? Why are they going to go after these? And then they're going to, on the other side, they're going to have these long, lanky receivers. You got to get somebody good in the corners that got to have height, because you can't really jump that high unless you got, some of those deals that where you got to go get the ball, pluck it out of the air, the 50-50.
You know what, Brian? 2 rules in coaching. You can't coach size, you can't coach speed. So you better have one or both of them. The 49ers have size with Evans. You're drafting guys anywhere from, 5'10" to 6 foot, maybe 6'1" of the corner. They better be able to run, because those guys on the other side, in the other colored jerseys, they're fast.
Yeah, they are fast. I agree.
Hey, but while I got you on the subject, were you surprised that Klubnik went to the Jets?
I am really surprised that he went in the 3rd round. I thought he would go. I would thought that he would go more 4th and 5th round because of his throwing ability. I mean, what I saw from him is that when he throws it high. When he gets nervous, I guess he throws it high. So you could tell that from, monitoring him at Clemson and everything. But for a style like him, he's going to have a lot of coaching abilities. He's going to have to go through a lot of stuff though. And also, Leo, talk about this though. You remember how we always talk about calling plays and everything. You got somebody in your ear calling it, so maybe it'll help him a little bit more. But like in the past, when you call out 24 Red Z 387, can he remember all that? Like you always talk about, you being a coach, former coach and everything, so he might have problems with that, and you got to read the ball better,
Brian, you know what the biggest problem the college quarterbacks have going to the pros? identifying the Mike because they don't see a middle linebacker in college anymore.
No.
It's either a 4-2, that's what you're seeing, 4-2-5, or 3-2-6, depending upon what the situation is. But you're almost now in college. Nickel is the base defense.
Yeah.
You pull the middle linebacker. So it's the hardest thing is for them to come out, determine who the Mike is so they can slide protection in one direction or the other. So
okay, guys, we got Mike, our Pensman Sports here on the phone with us because he was having technical issues. So I'm going to get that up here right now. There he is on the phone with us, Pensman Sports. Mike, or Pensman, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. What were we talking about? So what we talking? Let's go.
We're talking about the NFL draft, San Fran 49ers, and what they were up to and what's going on. Leo's breaking down some different people here. I got you hooked up by phone here because your internet was bad. So
I know.
So anyway, but Pensman Sports joining us by phone. Thank you, Pensman. And let's get back to what we were talking about now. The Jets and the Browns were given number one grades throughout the NFL and whatnot for their drafts. Do we all agree on that? So let's start with you, Pensman, here by phone. Pensman, tell us, do you think that the Browns and the Jets had a good draft?
Yeah, but they also got another quarterback, but that's normal for them. So, but yeah, I think they did. They got a good wide receiver. I think that was one of the. I think the Jets they got the Clemson quarterback. So I think the Jets would be fairly okay, and I think the Browns will be all right with their. I give it a B.
Okay, good, Leo. What do you think, Cleveland? Here's the thing that bothers me. Cleveland had that 6th pick in the draft, and if finally somebody stepped up and took it, I wish the Steelers would have done that, but somebody finally stepped up and took that 6th pick. What do you think, Leo? Go ahead.
Oh, I think Cleveland wanted to jettison that pick as soon as possible because there wasn't anybody who was earth-shattering that you wanted to stay at 6 for. So, let's trade down, get some extra picks and whatever. The biggest problem you have is when you come away as being a really good draft is you're a really bad team to start with. And that's the problem in Cleveland and the Jets. Think about this, guys. The Jets went through the entire season last year and didn't have an interception. You got to try to do that. I mean, that is phenomenal. 17 games, you don't have a pick. Wow. So, again, I think there's a lot of overachieving by the media here with the Jets. Like, I'm going to jump to the Giants real quick. John Harbaugh can't go on the field. Everybody says, oh, they're going to challenge for the, NFC East. No, they're not. Because it's not about X's and O's. It's about Jimmy's and Joe's. And they lost Dexter Lawrence. That's a huge piece they got to replace. So, yeah, they're going to be a little bit better. But don't expect to see what happened in New England to happen with the Giants. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't either this year. I really don't. I see John Harbaugh struggling a little bit. The Giants are different from the Ravens. He's got different management there, different atmosphere. It's not the same as it was with the Ravens. And we'll see if he's sorry he took that job. I'm actually glad to see. Actually, I'm not glad to see him go because the Steelers would always beat the Ravens and he would always make a ton of mistakes. And I was right about that. And I've been right about that for years whenever he plays the Steelers. If for some strange reason he makes boneheaded coaching decisions against the Steelers, and he always did it when he was with the Ravens. So let's see what happens if we have to play the Giants this year.
And you know what, Ralph? The biggest thing, he's going to deal with the media in New York.
Oh, my gosh, they're brutal. Yes. Yes.
I heard they're bad, too. I heard they're crazy.
Media. They're not.
Insane. Yeah. Insane.
Oh, it is insane. And you know what? Here was something that I did, and I did sort of a poll a little bit here. Or I did sort of a little question and answer thing. What would happen if Mike Tomlin took that job with the Giants? And I said this, and I said the New York media is going to eat him alive. Everybody said I was wrong because you know why? He intimidated the Pittsburgh media. he always had this smart attitude with the Pittsburgh media. He tried to intimidate some of these guys and some of these gals that were involved in this. But the one person who really got under his skin was Brooke Pryor, the reporter from ESPN, and she covers the Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and a few of the other teams. Let me tell you this: Brooke always asked him tough questions. Nobody else had the guts to do so, and that happened with Cowher. That happened with Bill Cowher. There were several guys who were involved in media in Pittsburgh. But my question is, do you think Mike Tomlin would have survived the media? John Harbaugh's going to have to deal with that media, and it's not going to be pretty, like Leo said, and I know it too. Brian, do you agree with me on that? And how about you, Pensman? What are your thoughts on the New York media with this?
Oh, I agree with you totally, because they're really bad. I mean, they're not bad, but they'll get on you real quick. And also, if you have 2 losing seasons, they'll get on you worse. They want you out quick as you can think about it. I mean, they actually
they want Aaron Glenn out already.
Yeah,
Glenn has only been there one season.
Yeah, it's hard to coach up there because it's more or less you don't have your ability to. I mean, they can talk, but it's more of a heart of a question on what they want, and they're really bad. Not because of the media, but I'm just saying that it's just hard being a coach up there because I guess the expectation is higher up there. So I just think that's be a possibility too.
Yeah, Pensman, go ahead.
I know Aaron Boone with the Yankees. He gets some tough questions, and I know that whoever the Mets, everybody gets eaten alive. Aaron Glenn, like you said, he's about ready to go. The New York media, if you don't like what they have to say, they'll twist it and try to make a fool out of you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and
you're right about what you said about Tomlin. Tomlin would be like,
yeah, oh exactly. He used to eat the media alive in Pittsburgh, except for Brooke Pryor. Brooke Pryor used to really ask him some tough questions, like the one time when she asked him about his contract and he walked off the podium. I mean, but again, she would ask him tough questions and really get to him under his skin. And I knew a couple guys. One of them, may he rest up with the Lord, Goose Goslin. He used to do it all the time. When Bill Cowher, Thor Tolo used to ask tough questions to Bill Cowher. That used to make Bill so upset. I was there when I used to see them guys, and they used to, oh my gosh, that they used to really, I mean, just get to Bill Cowher, whenever he was coach. So I know what it is with the media. I mean, but New York is the worst. So, I mean, and, as far as that goes, and like Leo said, we'll see how John Harbaugh handles this. All right, let's go into this here. This is a disturbing thing here. And I'm going to put this banner up because you know why? This is very disturbing. Where do you see the 10 teams that had nobody drafted in the NFL draft? Here we go. You ready? Here it is. Virginia, West Virginia, useless LA. I call them useless LA because they haven't done well for a while. Purdue, Colorado, Deion Sanders, North Carolina, Bill Belichick, Virginia Tech, now James Franklin, Oklahoma State. I think they got somebody from the prison league to coach there. I don't even know who's even coaching there. Syracuse with Fran Brown, and Wisconsin with Luke Fickell, who is on the hot seat. Guys, your thoughts on these 10 teams that college football teams that had nobody drafted? We'll start with you, Pensman. Go ahead.
UCLA, not surprised. North Carolina, not surprised. North Carolina is more of a basketball team. The football team's just there for them to try to get to the NFL. Colorado, they don't have Shore and Shiloh anymore, but the one I'm surprised about is Wisconsin. Wisconsin's usually the one that usually takes off with draft picks. But they didn't have no picks with Wisconsin. But that's my take on that. Like the other schools, they're like, okay, it's all about the NIL now.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And the funny part about all this is that, you're exactly correct. Leo, go ahead.
What's surprising about Wisconsin is that's offensive lineman you. And what I think's happening now is these guys can make more money staying in college if they're not going to be a first or second round pick. They can make more money. So they probably stay in there. Now, Virginia surprised me because they were ranked 11th in the country before the ACC championship. I mean, somebody's got to be doing something right up there. Tony Elliott is definitely doing something right.
Yeah.
But when you look at what's going on today, and I had a nice conversation yesterday with Mike Schultze of the Outback Bowl. Well, not the Outback, Reliaquist Bowl. And guys, there is really a tsunami coming for the NCAA all over this settlement, where they're going to pay players from 5 years past who didn't have the ability to make money with the NIL. This is a nuclear bomb ready to go off, because no matter what they say, let's go back 5 years and say, okay, player X, we think you were worth $5 million. No, I was worth $10 million. There is going to be hundreds of lawsuits over this. I can't believe how stupid. Well, yes, I can. The NCAA is stupid. I can't believe
it takes a vacation, Leo. I say it all the time.
Yeah, I can't believe how stupid they are that they agreed to this, because obviously this is a ship with no one steering it. And don't be surprised, and I said this 2 years ago, if the colleges don't break away from the NCAA, because the NCAA can't make any rules. So it's basically the Wild West. The colleges break away, create their own system, and Nick Saban's going to end up as the commissioner, and they're just going to set in rules, and if somebody wants to take you to court, go right ahead. I will tie you up for years, and you'll never play it down in football. See, that's the thing. Everybody can find a judge who's going to say, okay, I agree with that. Look at what happened down at Mississippi. The quarterback wanted to go back for a 6th year. Well, great.
Absolutely.
And what did they do? They found a daggone Mississippi alum judge. Yeah, bring him in. So, yeah, it's totally out of control. Guys, I want to bring this one up. How in God's name are these guys getting a degree? When you transfer schools, you're going 2, 3, 4 times. Those credits don't transfer with you. How are they meeting the average yearly progress unless the AYP is gone anymore? Because there's no way these guys can be moving from school to school to school unless the schools are just doing, hey, let him in, he can play football. It's a sad state of affairs right now.
All right, Brian Pettit, go ahead. What are your thoughts on these teams?
Well, we kind of look at North Carolina, a couple other ones. They haven't really been a big hitters. Colorado hasn't been a big hitter in a couple of years. I mean, there's some Tony Elliott. I thought some players would be drafted out of Virginia, but I mean, it's a different culture than it was 3 years ago, because now you've like one of the guys said, you only look at so many tape and you're just bombarded with all this tape. You got, so I don't know how many people were actually in the draft, but you think about all the seniors, juniors, people that are coming out, how much tape you have to watch, and it just bogs down them. And they're some of the coaches that I've heard are tired of watching tapes. They like, okay, we're done. 3 weeks of watching tape, they're done with it. So I think I think some of them will be missed. But that's how it's going to be taken this year, and I think there will be a big change, like Leo said. I think there's going to be a lot of changes and also I thought about this too. Think about where everybody was drafted at. All that NIL money just went away now that you're going into the pros, because your check just got cut in half.
Yes,
you might
exactly.
might be making what, $14 million a year for the NIL money, and then you're making $6 million now in the NFL. So it really cuts in half, and I've seen a lot of that this week where people are complaining about that now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what, guys? No one's talked about this. If they go from 12 to 16 16 teams in the playoff, which I think is a foregone conclusion down the road. What are they going to do with that money? Because
that's a good question. Yeah,
that are playing for free.
That's a real good one.
You know, all of a sudden that NIL runs out. Now you expect to play 2, 3, 4 games. No. That's going to be another lawsuit. Guys, this is a lawyer's paradise because they're just going to make money hand over fist. And the biggest problem, guys, I don't know if you heard about this. The NFL puts a cap on what the agent can make. It's either 3 or 4% of the contract, not in the NCAA. Some of these people acting as agents for players are grabbing 30 to 40%. That is just highway robbery. And again, the NCAA, they're just turning a blind eye. Terrible.
All right, if you're out in the bot and you have a QR code, we have a QR code at the top of the screen. It'll get you right here on our RW Media Production Programming, where I'm here at Studio 10 in Berlin, Maryland. And also we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X, the Kick platform, Pensman Sports, and we're also on the new sports beat. Brian, I'm sorry. Say your new network again. I'll put the banner up.
Sports Break Media. Sports Break Media.
Yeah, that's right. Sports Break Media. There it is. Brian Pettit. All right. Okay. Pensman, go ahead. Your thoughts on this. Go ahead on these teams.
I already did. I already covered it.
I'm sorry. Yeah. That's right. You already have. All right.
You're good, though.
I'm not used to you being on the phone. That's why.
I'm trying to fix things.
At least they got you back on the air, though. So, I mean, we had to do it this way. It's better than nothing.
Hey, we all have a face for radio.
I'm trying to fix it as we're talking.
Oh, I got you. That's fine. All right. Okay, guys, let's move on here. We got the NHL playoffs going on right now. Leo talked about the Lightning earlier a little bit, but tell us a little more about what do you think about the Lightning and what's going on with the NHL playoffs. Get Leo.
You know, you're seeing goaltending at its finest. I mean, there's only been a portion of one game where any of the teams have had a 2-goal lead. It's either score back, scores back. But it's been the intensity you can cut with a knife. The physicality is monumental. It's like hand-to-hand combat. It really is. They are getting after it. They got Game 7 in Tampa. Would anybody be surprised if it went overtime? I wouldn't. I mean, these two teams, and again, what no one talks about is, guess who was one of the stars of the first Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup? Oh, the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, Martin St. Louis. There's a lot of history going on between both of these teams. And I wouldn't say it's a hatred, but it's a healthy disrespect that they are asking no quarter and giving none, for sure.
That's for sure. Exactly. Brian Pettit, go ahead. Your thoughts on your NHL team. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have really one in the dogfight, but I can tell you this: like Leo said, the wick is gonna tick up a little bit with the like
the
wick, said this morning, the wick is a little bit up now because it's like Pensman said. I don't know what the stat is on this one, but he said there was 100 goals yesterday. With people trying to get the goals, that's pretty amazing there. So the wick has been turned up in the hockey league a little bit, but it's going to be like that because it's the playoffs. They're going to show more now. There's going to be different kind of ways they're going to score. So, the best team's going to come out and prevailing in this one. But
hey guys, I'm going to bring this. Let me bring this up real quick. I'm going to go back to Game 7, Boston and Tampa Bay, way back. No penalties were called the entire game. None. I'm afraid we may see the same thing Sunday. I'm hoping that's not the case. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. But I can remember they said, well, both teams were even. Oh, guess what? Boston was scoring at a 3% rate. The Lightning power play was at 44. So, no, it wasn't equal. So, again, I'm hoping they get a truly officiated game, and these guys just don't swallow their whistle and say, "Hey, go get them."
All right, Pensman Sports. You've been covering the Penguins. What's going on? Go ahead. And the
Huh.
Flyers game. Go ahead.
The Penguins went to Cocoon and went into the golf tee and they got their golf swings going. But that's what happened. The Flyers, they're younger, they're faster. So anybody that I got a lot of comments about the Flyers, yeah, the Flyers won, yada yada yada. They won their Stanley Cup. They beat us. They won fair and square. We had a chance to come back, but it is what it is. Congratulations to the Flyers. You're going to lose to Carolina, so have your roses when you can. But just let you guys know that I'm okay with the series. The series, if Silva started in game 1 or 2, they would have been all right. They got a jump start and they didn't get with the gears right away. I want to talk about the Tampa Bay game real quick. The Tampa Bay game last night, I watched it. I don't know if you agree with me, Leo, but that is going to be on the classic. It's one of the classic games. It's going to be 100 shots combined, 32 shots on goal for Tampa, 31 for Montreal on goal. It was one of the classic games, one of the best games I've seen in years, and I'm taking that over the Penguins games I've seen over the years. When you get me in that category, you know that was a great game.
Yeah, guys, I want to throw this out at you. Who do you got winning the Cup? And I'm going to tell you what I picked. I picked Carolina to come out of the East, and I picked
me. Yeah,
I picked Vegas to come out of the West and Vegas to win it all because all of a sudden they got Tortorella behind the bench, and he knows how to get them there. So it's a little bit of a upset, but I think Vegas is going to hoist the Cup. How about you guys?
Yeah, that's you're right, Leo. I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan. Became a fan when I went down to Raleigh in 2019. I like the city, and I became a Carolina Hurricanes fan. I do like them. I don't like them when they play the Penguins, but I do like them if they're in the playoffs right now. I'm glad. I hope that they can knock Philly out and get them out the door. And but I know I'll take a lot of heat Wednesday on my Philadelphia show. 3 to 4 p.m. on 860 a.m. WWDB, the Ralph Williams Show. I know I'll take a lot of heat for that, but who cares? So anyway, I take a lot of heat anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, but my opinion on the 10 teams, and I didn't give my opinion on that, but the 10 teams that are not that did not get drafted of all the teams there, I find that kind of disgraceful a little bit because some of these teams, and I want to say this. North Carolina has a nostalgic coach who they're trying to put butts in the seats for football. And when Mac Brown retired, I knew this team was going to be in limbo. And then when they hired Bill Belichick, and I said, "What are you doing?" And then they did it to put butts in the seats. Deion Sanders, the same thing in Colorado, and now the novelty of this is starting to run off on both teams. And if you look at it, their records, if you look at how they've done, how things have gone and everything else, Wisconsin, how the mighty have fallen. Wisconsin brings out good linebackers, good offensive linemen, running backs, Ron Dane. I remember him and a few other people. So TJ Watt, they've brought out some great linebackers in the past. And I got to say this, Wisconsin has really fallen. I never thought Luke Fickell and Wisconsin was ever going to fall like that. How about Syracuse? I remember they used to bring out some good players. Dick McPherson, Paul Pasqualoni had some good offensive weapons.
Now we're really going back.
Yes, exactly. But what I'm saying is how the mighty have fallen, Leo and Brian and Pensman. I think you guys
forgot
all
McNabb, too.
I'm sorry, Pensman, go ahead.
You forgot McNabb, too.
Yeah, well, no, I said Donovan McNabb. I did say McNabb.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I did say McNabb. But what I'm saying is, in useless LA, I call them that because they are useless. UCLA has not been a good football team in a long time. And when you get beat, and no offense to Pitt, when you get beat by Pitt and Chip Kelly got beat in that bowl game a few years back, you got problems. So, I mean, and UCLA hasn't been prominent in a long time. Rick Neuheisel, I think, was the last coach that UCLA was prominent with. They haven't been prominent in a long, long time. and it's really sad. Virginia, like Brian said, Tony Elliott. Look at what he's done, and they didn't have anybody. So I mean, it's really tough out there. And Pitt almost didn't have anybody either. They had 2 players. One went as an undrafted free agent, and Kyle Lewis got drafted. So I mean, it's just one thing after another in some of these schools. And we saw a lot of Ohio State, we saw a lot of Alabama, we saw a lot of those guys and their teams and everything else. Okay.
You know what, Ralph? Though, be careful what you wish for, because what's the first thing everybody said about Ohio State? All those players, you didn't win the championship. Look what happened to Franklin at Penn State.
At Penn State, right? Yes.
Is so high. You don't get to the playoffs, you're on the hot seat. We talk about coach on the hot seat. Right now, if you're not one of those 12 that get to the playoffs, you may get fired. Period.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And hockey coaches, and you can ask Pensman, he follows hockey more than I do. Hockey coaches and Pensman will agree with me, and so will you, Leo and Brian. They don't last long. I mean, I've seen them last, 2 years, maybe 3 at the most, some of them. And there's
look what happened in baseball. Look what happened in baseball with the Phillies and the Red Sox.
Yes.
30 games in, and they jettison everybody. Wow.
Yes.
Hey, Leo, on the back side of this, if you were the team owner or the owner of whatever, and I have 2 seasons that are mediocre, as an owner, as you are, like I'm the head coach, what are your thoughts of going into that, since you've been in with the NFL and kind of like that? What would your thoughts if I was more of a spectator to the viewers, what was your thoughts on that? If I had an okay season, then we had a losing season. What's your thoughts on that being an owner, though?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you brought that up. If I'm an owner, it's like baseball, 3 strikes and you're out. And you got 3 years not to win the Super Bowl, but to get me a home playoff game. Why? That's $100 million.
Money.
It's all about the money. And guys, let's talk mathematics with the NFL. With a hard salary cap like they had, the odds would tell you every team is equal, money-wise. Once every 16 years, you should get to the Super Bowl. Twice every 32 years, you should get there, and you may win 1 or 2. The fact that people are talking about multiple Super Bowls, it's not going to happen. The NFL doesn't want dynasties, but that's why the draft, the ones at the bottom. And how about what the NBA wants to do with tanking? That is so ludicrous. Man, oh man, crazy. That's why nobody talks about the NBA, because it's unwatchable until the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even watch them in the playoffs.
Be unwatchable. Look what the Knicks did to the Hawks.
Yeah,
81 points.
I'm smiling ear to ear about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Speaking of the NBA, guys, how about some of these old teams that used to be the old rivalries? The Celtics and the 76ers. How about that? We haven't seen that in years. And, I mean, it's so good to see those old rivalry games coming back. Pensman and I had a conversation on the phone the other day about that. And I got to tell you, it's, it's good to see those rivalries back. I love it. I just do. And I hope it stays that way. But we're going to find out what happens in the NBA playoffs. I'm not an NBA fan. I don't follow them. I don't talk about them very much. But I will say the WNBA has moved from ION Television to USA Network because NBC has taken over the rights for the NBA, and they have a lot of their games now on NBC, which is preempted a lot of programs. And so now they have the WNBA on USA Network, which, of course, NBC owns as well. All right. Let's get into our trivia question here today. And every week we're going to have a new trivia question here. I had some issues with the trivia question cards a few weeks ago, so I was unable to do one before we went on our little break because of WrestleMania and the draft. And now that we're back, we're going to be able to get into these. Hang on a minute. Let me find my light here because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. All right, here's the question, guys, and we'll start with you, Brian. You'll be able to answer it, and then we'll move on. A baseball player who plays a certain position but does not play steady. What is that player called? Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, read that one more time.
A guy who plays multiple positions but does not play consistently. What is that player called?
Shoot. Oh, I can't think of it. Shoot.
Well, go ahead. We'll go to Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
Go ahead, Leo.
A guy is sitting next to you on the bench most of the night.
No, well, no. It's a guy who plays multiple positions but does not play steady in a game. What is that player called?
Well,
Not
I
a
can tell you who it was. A guy who Mookie Betts, right? Outfielder, shortstop, and that.
Yeah.
So he's a super sub. But I was thinking journeyman, but that's not it.
No.
There's a term for it. And
Well, go ahead.
I'm like
Think about
Brian,
it.
it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it.
Well, go ahead and get back to me, and I'll think about it. Pensman, go ahead. Pensman.
I think it's a utility player.
Bingo! There you go.
Jeez, I couldn't think of it.
Pensman got it, man. Utility player. There you go. All right. Every week we're gonna have a trivia question here. If you want us to ask a trivia or do a trivia question, Ralph Williams 737 at gmail.com. We do have an email here from Joe. Joe is from Texas, and he says, Ralph, he says, I used to listen to your old show on a radio station down here. He says, I'm glad you're back on the air after the 2-week layoff. I've been following all of your shows. And he says, it's great to have you and the guys back on Saturday morning. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Joe. And Ralph Williams 737 at gmail.com. Look at the ticker tape below. If you or your business wants to do any sponsorship advertising, you're welcome to do that as well. All right, let's wrap things up here. Our final thoughts here, and then we'll wrap things up.
One last thing. I want to give you guys a chance to speak on this because I know we don't follow it as much as I do. What is your thoughts about the Live Tour now might be leaving?
Yes. Thank you, Brian. I forgot to bring that up. I had it on my notes
I want to hear what y'all thought on it.
Yeah, the Live. You know what? I knew that was going to fall because sooner or later, there can't be two golf organizations, the PGA and the Live, and I get that. But it's good to see the Live going down because now everybody will go back to the PGA and we'll have one group of golfers, which I find very, very interesting to see where this goes. But I was shocked when I heard that because the Saudis got a lot of money, Brian. And I will tell you that's Pensman, your thoughts on the Live group shutting down shop here with the golf?
That's good. That's good for the golf because PGA they can get their sponsors. They can worry about everything they need to worry about. The Live, I don't know what they are, but I don't know. They tried to push in, but I agree with them being shut down. So that way the PGA can concentrate on what they need to worry about. So
I'm actually surprised,
I think it's good for golf what they need to do.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Live is going down, like I said, because Saudi Arabia, they got a lot of money. And, and Leo, it's about the Benjamins, right, Leo? But go ahead.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys? As Lee Corso said, not so fast, my friend. What's the PGA going to do? They may want to bring these guys back with open arms, but I can guarantee you Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, and all those guys that disdain the big bucks to stay there, they're not going to want these guys to come right back. I got a feeling that there's going to be some sort of time frame for guys coming back, like John Rahm filming, all that. But I think the biggest problem right now is not Live, but the one they're doing on TV from indoors, the PLF or whatever they call that.
Yeah. Yes.
People don't have to commit to 3 or 4 hours watching a golf tournament. They do it in an hour and a half. And it's pretty exciting. And when you look at what's going on with golf, what the Live did was force the PGA to come to reality that, if we're going to keep these guys, we got to increase the purse. Now, with no competition, are they going to try to cut back and say, okay, yeah, we offered $9 million purse. Now it's going to cut it down to 5. If they do that, you're going to have a revolt in golf for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Ralph.
Yes, Pensman.
I got a question for everybody here, and you can respond to this too.
Go ahead.
What if the lift stays open and they go to like high school or the amateurs of the golfers that are trying to get up, and they can sponsor them? What does everybody think about that?
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't think that hurt.
Saudi Arabia is about money. You know that. We see
I
that
know
with
that.
the WWE.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out. Try to keep live open. I don't know if they can sponsor people that are trying to come up.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do that either. I don't know what the rules are for amateur golf and all that. But Leo, go ahead. Your thoughts on that question by Pensman. Go ahead.
No such thing as amateurs anymore. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Right.
Again, the colleges need to get away from the term student athlete. So does the high schools. I mean, they're making in Florida. They can make NIL money now.
Yeah.
So that genie is out of the bottle. And
hey, look what City Bridgewater did. He was giving out steak dinners and got in trouble.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's small potatoes to what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And Florida and Western Pennsylvania have some of the best athletes that come out of high school. I think you'll agree with me on that. So, you know. But,
and I've heard this one too.
Oh yeah,
I've heard this one too about the Lift Tour coming to all the players. They can have the FD fine for coming back to the PGA. I heard that a little bit. Talks about that. How steep can the fines be if they come back into it, or there could be, no fines or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that could happen. Okay, guys, final thoughts, and let's go into. I'm bringing back this old segment called The Local. What's going on in your local sports? Brian, I'm sure you're happy. Clemson had about 4 players drafted in the draft, including the quarterback. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, it was kind of a. I didn't know where Cade was, but I knew all the other 3 that were going up top. But that's just the way the culture is. That defensive line. I mean, they've had a lot of defensive. I mean, in the last couple months. I mean, years. In the past, they've had a lot of a defensive, through what the struggles they have. But, this is the NFL, and now you got to step up a little bit more to say, hey, I'm ready for this. So they got a lot on their shoulders. Everybody does, even in the draft. Everybody has to step up their game, and they have to show now the coaches, hey, do I deserve this spot? Because you might be good in college, but then get in NFL, you might not be so good. You might be a third string, or you might be playing for, the UFL or whatever. You might be sitting on the bench. That's why you got to have your education first, because you never know. Only 5%? What is it? 5% make it into down less 3%, maybe
2-3% max.
Yeah. That you're going to make it in the NFL. So. That's why your education is, like Leo said, you got to have education before you do this kind of stuff, because you could be tossed on the street and then you don't have nothing,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Leo, go ahead. You're local. What's going on in Tampa? Go ahead.
Boy, we got a lot happening down here. I mean, the Rays.
The Inferno plays the Riverhounds tonight, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's
Tampa Bay Inferno.
They're down here. You got the Lightning, Game 7. The Rays, they got 2 more home with the Giants, and then Toronto shows up for 3, and they're 6-1 in their last 7. University of Tampa, their men's lacrosse team is like 18-1. Their baseball team is like 32-6. I mean, for a Division II program, Tampa is phenomenal. And the Rowdies, Ralph, this is going to shock you. They're 4-2-0. They haven't lost yet.
No.
And this is a team that was the bottom of the pack last year, and all of a sudden they turned this around. You got everything going on in sports down here this week. And the Bucks, I don't know when the Steelers are going to start their OTAs. It looks like down here it's going to be like mid to late May when that's going to happen. But, The NFL, it's 12 months a year. It's just a matter of what they're doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. OTAs have started, and I'll give my opinion about some Steelers stuff coming up here. But Pensman, go ahead.
I'm going to throw. Well, we were talking about the NHL playoffs. I'm going to talk about the AHL playoffs right now. The baby Penguins, the Wilkes-Barre Penguins, are playing the Hershey Bears right now, and they are up 1-0 against the Hershey Bears. And the Hershey Bears are a team to be reckoned with in the AHL, but the Wilkes-Barre Penguins are up 1-0 against the Hershey Bears in the AHL playoffs. So if you're in the Pittsburgh Penguins, support the AHL playoffs team. They're just as good as the NHL playoffs. So, but that's what's going around my local. But and then I got a couple of Michigan got a couple of people that were drafted. So McCauley didn't get drafted, but he might get picked up in free agency. But we'll see what the Steelers do with Rodgers, and I think the Steelers got a B plus in there. But I'm happy with everything that the Steelers got, except for the first pick. But we'll see what happens with him. But that's what's going with my local area.
All right, let me say this about the Steeler draft, and a lot of people are forgetting something. We have a new head coach. We have Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy has a coaching tree. He has a Rolodex full of coaches that he can bring in and attach to the Steelers organization. I want to see what his first draft's going to look like when they get onto the field for training camp and OTAs and mini camp. I want to see what these players are made of. And I want to see what his coaches are made of. Is his tree as good as they say it is? That is why I gave him a C, but I'll give him a better grade if I find out that, who knows, maybe James Campen, who's the new offensive line coach for the Steelers, can mold this first-round pick into a good player. We don't know yet. This is a mystery. We know what some of these guys have done in Green Bay. Patrick Graham was in Las Vegas last year. And, so a lot of these guys our offensive coordinator was with Minnesota. So, I mean, those are different systems, different things. What can happen? He has some smart coaches in here. And it's not like Mike Tomlin when he had yes men who couldn't coach their way out of a paper bag running this team. Now we have quality head assistants and everything else. So that's what I'm saying here. Let's be patient and wait and see what Mike McCarthy has up his sleeve. And I know he's got some stuff up his sleeve. The guy we got from Navy, he's a local guy. And besides that, he's a running back, kick returner. We got a kick returner and a wide receiver from Iowa who broke records in the NCAA for returning kicks and punts. We have some great athletes at Jeremy Bernard. That was a steal, but we could have got more. And, I've said this many times. I've gone to some conventions. I used to be involved in Amway and some of these other network marketing kind of things. And you know what they say? It's always good to do more. We want more subscribers. We want more people watching our programming. We want more. It's always good to do more. The Steelers could have done more. They could have done better. But they did what they did, and they got burned in the first round, but so what? All right? I think we need to sit back and take a look at what Mike McCarthy can do. I have more confidence in Mike McCarthy than I ever had in 19 years of Mike Tomlin and his yes men. So I just want to let everyone know that. And that's my thoughts. That's my final thoughts. Don't forget to catch all of us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, Facebook pages, Amped Up Sports. Make sure you get on Facebook. Take a look at their Facebook page. Coming up soon, Leo, I believe you guys are going to start some a website and got some things going on. I want to thank you as well for introducing me to some of the guys that are part of Ryan Neal, Mike Sisak, David Alexander, and a few of the other guys that I've had on my shows in the past. And they're going to be coming on Saturdays as well. Mike's coming on next week. Talk about the Commanders and Ravens and some World Cup soccer. So this show here is going to expand into some great things. We're going to be doing some shorts. So where I have some wrestling stuff I'm doing, post Raw, post SmackDown. Next week we have we have the Backlash pay-per-view coming next Saturday. Smoking Jim and I are probably going to do a special show on that. Brian and Pensman here and I are going to be doing some stuff involving that. So don't worry. Just because I shut down Tuesday shows, that doesn't necessarily mean we're not doing anything. I'm just shutting down shows that are unproductive. And Ralph's opinion will be back on Wednesday at 7:30. And believe me, I've got my opinion about a whole bunch of stuff. So that's coming up Wednesday at 7:30. And don't forget, 9 o'clock, I'm on Steel City Sports World with Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano. And also, speaking of Claudio, here we go. Congrats to Claudio Rosano. He's being inducted into the Italian Sports Hall of Fame. And I want to thank him for being one of my mentors. And we're very close friends, Smoking Jim Frazier, Luther Dupree. And speaking of all of us, we'll be on this afternoon, 2 to 3 p.m. on 1250 a.m. The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, the Sports Corner radio show. Claudio couldn't make it. He had other obligations, so it's me, myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, Luther Dupree. We're going to break the draft down that the Steelers did and all the teams as a whole as well. All right, guys, real quick here before we go, Leo and Pensman. First, we'll start with Pensman. Your total grade on the entire draft. Go ahead, Pensman.
I give it a B. I'm happy with everybody, and I don't give Cowboys credit enough, but the Cowboys actually did something. They might be a factor in the NFC East. The Giants got better. The Eagles are going to be how they are. Jalen Hurts still needs help. The Browns got better. I'm just happy with it. I just want to be equal. I want an equal foundation of the NFL. Not that dominant teams be dominant. I want the weaker teams to be dominant as well. That way we have an equal playing field. Everybody starts at 0-0. But the only thing I give an F at Pittsburgh because and Ralph, you covered this. But this is the first time we've been back, so I'm going to cover this real quick.
Good.
Shame on you for NFL for giving the police and first responders rice and beans when they cover that. That's really shameful. So that's my take on that.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up, Pensman, because I didn't forget about it, but I'm glad you brought that up. Shame on the NFL. As Pensman mentioned, they gave our first responders and our police beans and rice. Now, again, I don't have a problem with beans and rice, but I have a problem when you're eating steak and you're giving us hot dogs, our first responders. That's unacceptable to me. And the NFL should be ashamed of themselves. Now, I don't not only blame the NFL, I blame the city of Pittsburgh for this because they should have stepped up and got on the NFL for this. Salvation Army came and gave rice and beans. I'd rather the Salvation Army work on helping with first aid. With people who are dehydrated because they don't understand that you have to stay hydrated. I'd rather them deal with the drunks that collapse and fall over. I'd rather them deal with stuff like that than be handing out beans and rice to our first responders. I want to thank a local grocery store chain. Well, I'm gonna say their name once and once only. They don't pay me. Giant Eagle, because if it wasn't for Giant Eagle, first responders wouldn't have had any good food to eat. For all the time that they spent protecting everybody at the draft. And I say shame on Pittsburgh's public safety department. And I say shame on Mayor Corey O'Connor. And I say shame on the NFL for not treating our first responders better. And I asked this question Wednesday in Philly. Did the same thing happen to you? And I got no response yet, but I'll get something. Did the same thing happen to Philly when they hosted it? Detroit when they hosted it? Because if it didn't, then that means somebody was out to get Pittsburgh, and that's a shame. All right. So, Brian Pettit, go ahead. What do you think? What are you grade for
the whole entire thing of what y'all just talked about? I'm going to grade it a C, and it's been my whole entire thought of a C. It was okay, but it could have been a lot better, and there's a lot of stories that have come out of there. I think I'm just going to grade it a C, between a B and a C. So I'm going to go with a C. I mean, we've had a lot of controversy in this draft, so we'll see what happens next year.
All right, Leo, real quick, and you guys all promote yourselves. Brian, go ahead, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you, what's going on with your stuff.
Okay, you can find me on Sports Break Media now on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook at Sports Break Media on Facebook. Also, my Twitter, the x.com, whatever it is 27 Sports Break. And also you can email me at sportsbreakmedia1@gmail.com. So that's a wrap.
All right. Don't forget Monday, 3:00 p.m., the Ralph Williams Show on 620 KHB in Pittsburgh. We're on weekdays now. Don't forget about that. We have a lot to talk about. And also Friday, the Sports Corner Radio Show, weekday edition, 3 p.m., 620 KHB in Pittsburgh. Now, be advised, they're working on fixing their internet. They had a bad storm that knocked out their internet tower, and they're working on getting things done. So as soon as they get that all done, you can listen and watch on the internet and whatnot. But right now, if you don't live in the Western Pennsylvania area, you don't have a radio, you really can't listen or tune in. So go out, get yourself a radio, get on Temu, get one of them little transistors or something. All right, and tune into the show. Leo, go ahead. Your final thoughts on the entire draft grade, and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Well, anytime you don't have multiple top 10 quarterback picks, it's not going to be a fancy draft. And I give Fernando Mendoza an A+ for saying, I'm staying home and enjoying this with my family. Because his mom, she wasn't going anywhere, and he wasn't going to abandon her. Kudos to that. I give the whole process a B- because think about this now. An outdoor event in Pittsburgh in mid-April, you could have had snow. I mean, the fact that they were able to pull this off, and that's phenomenal that's going to happen. So, yeah, I give it a B-. There wasn't a lot of flash and pomp and circumstance with it, but you know what? Come September, kick it off, baby. We're all set.
That's when we'll know what's going on with these draft picks, and that's exactly it. All right, Pensman, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and then we're going to wrap things up here. Go ahead.
You can find me on YouTube at Pensman Sports. You can find me on email. If you have any concerns, anything at all, if you don't like it, if you want me to cover a team, email me at pensmansports@gmail.com. I got a lot of Flyers fans now. I don't know how they all came. They all came swarming to me. I'm not a Flyers fan, but I'm a media person. They all came swarming on Wednesday night. So if you want me to cover Cowboys, that's fine too, I guess. But if you want me to cover any team, I just want my people happy. So
hey, don't worry about that.
Email me at pensmansports@gmail.com and YouTube. Subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,000 by the end of the year.
Hey, Pensman, don't worry about that stuff, too, because guess who's getting some brotherly love there? I am with my show, The Ralph Williams Show, Wednesdays, 3 to 4 p.m. Speaking of Philly, 860 a.m., WWDB. And we have a lot to talk about, including a bunch of things involving a lot of different stuff going on in the Philadelphia area and all across the state of Pennsylvania and much, much more. Stupid never takes a vacation. And we're going to start doing – guys, I think you'll agree with me. We're going to start doing Stupid Never Takes a Vacation in sports, and also Shame on You in sports. My shame on you today is the NFL for doing what they did to our first responders. That's unacceptable. And, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Roger Goodell, and the NFL for doing that. All the money you make, and you give them a half a cup of beans and rice. And if it wasn't for Giant Eagle stepping up, I think that it would have been tough for our first responders who get no respect. And that's a shame. All right, guys, thank you for being part of the program. Brian Pettit, Leo Haggerty, and Pensman Sports. I'm Ralph Williams, your host. Until next Saturday, 10 a.m., have yourself a great one, and please, by all means, be safe. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, guys.